Hello, this is an assessment of a Yamaha YUS3 Silent upright piano, 131 centimeters tall, made in 2017. Now the client's got a Bluether style 8 grand piano from us, made in 1898, and he wants to see what sort of part exchange value this piano might have, or what he might like to do with it. So they're just assessing the piano, and obviously the cosmetics are important, although the musical instrument's much more important to us. But in terms of selling the piano, the cosmetics are important. It looks pretty much immaculate. There's obviously accumulated a few scratches, but it's been well looked after. So first of all, we look over the case, trying to assess whether there's much work to do or any work to do. Certainly we'll need cleaning up, and probably the odd surface scratch that needs removing too, but it's in generally very good condition. Now the piano's got a silent mechanism in, so you switch it on here and you can plug headphones in here, and you just hear it through the headphones. The piano's switched off altogether. So to switch the piano mechanism off, you pull this lever and it puts a barrier between the hammers and the strings. So as I pull the lever, then you can see that it puts a barrier so the hammers can't hit the strings. Now if we have a look at this one, for instance, if I play the hammer now, it doesn't hit the strings, it hits the barrier instead, so it can't reach the strings. Now in order to accommodate the silent bar, the let-off button is regulated so that it lets off further away. This is the let-off here, and this little button is adjusted so it lets off further away. So Yamaha put this little plaque inside their silent pianos to show how far away the let-off should be, so 4.5 to 7 millimeters. So as I push the key, it lets off further away. If you can see it letting off here, just pulling out from underneath the hammer butt. So I press down the key without playing the note. You can see it's letting off 4.5 to 7 millimeters. That may be about 5 millimeters. It's hard to know exactly how much, but quite a lot further away than normal. So here's an upright piano without silent mechanism, and this is a Feurich 125, and you can see I can get much closer and within 2 or 3 millimeters of the string. So if I want to play very gently, I don't have to put too much pressure on. There we are. So obviously you can't get the control you can on the grand, because on the grand it lifts the hammer, so you can get better control. But this is as good as you'll get on an upright. So pressing it towards the string, you can hear it playing very gently, and we can get a very soft playing, pushing my finger very gently on the key. It's going back to the silent, and I can't get the same control. As you can see, it's letting off, so I just press the key a bit harder. So the dynamic range is less, it's bound to be less, and the control when you play softly is also less. Now the tone on these modern Yamahas is very different from the pianos made in, let's say, between 1965 and 1985, and I'll let you listen yourself, see what you think. That's a very bright one, by the way. That needs voicing. It's a bit out of tune too. This is a Welmar upright made in 1980. And this is the Feurich 125. So the piano is generally in extremely good condition, made in 2017, has been used a fair amount since, but still almost like a new piano, just been played in a bit. I've checked the electronics and everything seems to be working. I did notice actually that the sustain pedal needs regulating. It's not pulling off enough, so it needs to pull off another 3 millimeters or so. So as I press the sustain pedal down, it's not lifting the dampers off far enough. This is quite common. It does happen on all pianos really, but particularly modern pianos actually. If you've got a modern piano, then it's worth checking, see how far it's pulling them off. Now here's the Feurich piano. As you can see, I press the sustain pedal, it pulls them off. They should really clear the strings by, well, a couple of millimetres. That's clearing the string by, and that's ideal. Maybe even slightly more, so that to allow for the fact that it's going to wear and it will gradually sink back. And they do, pianos do. So it's worth checking your pedal if you have got any upright piano. And then it's a small screw adjustment on the pedal. Modern pianos is very simple. Older pianos you might need a pair of pliers too, but pedals can normally be adjusted quite simply to pull off about that amount. So particularly notable is that let-off will normally be 3 millimetres or so, 8 millimetres, so to accommodate the fact that it's got the bar that needs to come between the hammer and the strings to allow it to play silently. So that does feel, touch-wise, it feels very different. So it's you can get used to it, obviously. And here we have a bit of variety here, actually. Mostly it's 50 grams, 53, but you've got a 58. The sharp keys seem to be heavier than the natural, so that's something. In a new piano you'll find they're almost identical. In the Feurichs they'll all be set about 50 grams, so pretty much, and getting slightly lighter towards the top. So that's an assessment of a Yamaha YUS, I think we called it, and a silent piano, and it's generally in extremely good condition. Been played in, shall we say, and so in a way pianos sound better when they're played in for a couple of years. So, but it's a bit bright in places, a bit varied. Although with the front on, it doesn't quite sound so bright, but there is some voicing to do. And a general comment about silent pianos, the let-off does mean you can't play so sensitively as you can on a normal piano, shall we say, but you might get used to it. I would always recommend, and we had in our house when the boys were growing up, a digital piano upstairs and then an acoustic piano downstairs. And if you've got room, to have one of each is much better, I believe, than to have everything trying to integrate into one upright piano. But obviously you may not have room, but that's ideal. We have one in the boys' bedroom and the other one downstairs for everyone to use. So I hope that's been helpful. Thank you very much for listening.